Meanwhile, it is kind of related to the next story in Minnesota, revolving around Governor Tim Walz.
Yes, in Minnesota, you have a big Somali population. And after some investigations, the Manhattan Institute, these two guys who were with that organization, last month they investigated Minnesota's Medicaid Housing Stabilization Services program. It's called Feeding Our Futures. They also investigated other organizations to find out where tax dollars are going. They found out that, is it $1 billion? It's $1 billion, I believe, going to Somali. And that is going to a terrorist organization, al-Shabaab, which is a military group in Somalia, and it's an al-Qaeda-linked terrorist organization. Why are tax dollars, if you live in Minnesota, you're going to work, you're working really hard, some of your paycheck is going to benefit, according to this investigation, a terrorist organization.
Including the pandemic aid.
That's exactly right.
So the pandemic aid, this governor not only allowed the riots to go crazy with George Floyd, when the money came flooding in, he had no idea where it was going. When whistleblowers stood up and said, this is fraudulent, this is fake, this money's going to the wrong people, he went after the whistleblowers. That's the investigation. Now, the Justice Department announced new charges last week against a 78th defendant in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, which prosecutors say involved more than $250 million in stolen funds alone on our federally funded child nutrition program has already resulted in over 50 convictions.
So the governor had an opportunity to address this, and you would think that he would take the criticism and say, you know, I made a mistake. You know, he was on the campaign trail talking about that's what leaders do when he was running for vice president. But when he was pressed on it, he had this to say.
Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud.
It's not that anyone's trying to demonize that group, Somalis. We're just saying, how did you let it get this far?
Yeah.
$1 billion of taxpayer dollars? Who was in charge of that money? Why was it sent to another country? Why is it benefiting a terrorist organization? You have answers, and you have taxpayers. You have constituents who want to have some answers.
Well, it's also not generosity, it's stupidity when you're giving money to terrorists. Tom Emmer is also from that state. This is what he had to say earlier on the show.
You've got housing fraud. You've got daycare fraud. You've got 80 autism centers under investigation. All of this under Tim Walz's watch. And his response? God bless President Trump for actually saying something about this and calling it out. Al-Shabaab controls all the financial infrastructure in Somalia. This money has gone back to Somalia. Ergo, common sense would tell you that millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars from Minnesotans, has gone to terrorists known as al-Shabaab in Somalia. This is an awful situation. Tim Walz should be held accountable, and somebody in his administration, I'm just going to leave you with this, over $1 billion, Lawrence, you can't tell me that that's just negligent oversight. Someone is complicit.
I agree. There's something here. The investigation, I hope, is just beginning. I want those whistleblowers, the 100%. Ones who were prosecuted.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.